Max Verstappen is not afraid to call a spade, and that's exactly what he's done with the new 2026 power regulations. Let's just say he is not happy, and it's not just him, but Horner as well. But it looks like there's even more reasons the Red Bull could be fearing the new engine regulations, and it's none other than Toto Wolff that has exposed the Austrian team. Want to know what Verstappen's view is of the 2026 power units? Also, what does Toto know that we don't about Red Bull? Stick around to find out. There is no doubt that F1's new 2026 regulations bring the sport into an interesting but exciting time, with the likes of Audi and Ford now entering the sport as well as the return of a crowd favourite in Honda, but the long-anticipated entry of Porsche into F1 never materialised, with the sports car manufacturer's attempt to buy 50% of Red Bull being rebuffed after both Horner and Marko did not like that Porsche wanted to meddle with a well-oiled machine. Another American giant in Cadillac awaits the decision from the FIA on the application of the hopeful new entrant Andretti Motorsport. It's pretty clear that F1 is a big deal, with not only significant manufacturers wanting to join F1, but there is a queue of countries that want to join the circuit calendar, leaving F1 with a few tough decisions to make. So then, why would F1 want to change the current model and how it works if there's a winning formula? In a nutshell, they need to make the sport more sustainable, which is the main reason for changing the current power units. So then, how exactly are they going to do this? Let's take a look. Firstly, there's been a lot of chatter about the weight of the car, with many believing the current F1 cars are just too heavy and that a change is needed. With the new regulations due to come in, this could be the ideal chance for F1 to reduce the weight of their current F1 cars. The FIA president Mohammed Ben Sulayem recently reignited the debate over the weight of the modern Formula 1 car at the Monaco Rally. One thing I would like to see is very clear: we need a lighter car. I believe that this is better. I come from a motorsport where lighter cars are safer and they won't use the same amount of fuel. It will be hard to achieve, but everybody wants it. So I am pushing because I come from rallying, where there is nothing worse than having a heavy car, said Ben Sulayem. As much as this has been in discussion, the actual reality is that the F1 cars are not likely to get any lighter, as the new 2026 F1 power units are specified to deliver 50% of the power from the hybrid mechanism, which means bigger batteries and, again, more weight. Nicholas Tombazis recently revealed that there is room for a reduction in car weight in 2026 by reducing the dimensions of the current F1 car's footprint. So the net effect, I hope, is going to be a bit lighter but not a massive amount, Tombazis told the race. As many of you have let us know in the comments, the return of a V8 engine would be the ultimate dream, because since the introduction of the V6 turbo hybrid, the cars have risen by a whopping 24% in the last 10 years. There are some caveats in the new Halo system, and the 18-inch tires do add some weight, but nothing that significant. Let's not beat around the bush though. The rise in the weight of the cars sits firmly at the feet of the FIA, as prior to agreeing to continue the hybrid power units with the next generation of F1 cars in 2026, there was a lot of support for the return of the V8 or even V10 naturally aspirated engines. Now wouldn't that have been great? Okay, enough dreaming and back to reality. The real truth is that the cars are most likely to get even heavier, with Horner pointing this out over the weekend. The Red Bull team principal described the 50% hybrid power requirement as excessive. You're looking pretty much at a 30-kilogram swing on cars that are already approaching sports car weights through the cooling that's going to be required and so on, claims Horner. Whilst generally positive about the FIA's direction of travel, stating, "The sustainable fuel and so on is extremely positive." Besides making the cars less nimble and looking like a gigantic block on wheels, there is another significant impact of the heavier car, and it's probably one that the more general F1 fans will not have thought of, and that is the chassis of the car, which is a crucial element of any F1 car, something that Christian Horner was very quick to point out when speaking to the media. Something we need to pay urgent attention to before it's too late is to look into the ratio between combustion power and electrical power to ensure we're not creating a technical Frankenstein which will require the chassis to compensate to such a degree, with movable aero and a reduced drag to such a level that the racing will be affected. The Red Bull boss is concerned that the tow and DRS will have no more effect because the hybrid systems will be working all the time. Furthermore, Christian believes that a significant part of the combustion engine's role has been denigrated to being just the generator in charge of the battery. I think that could easily be addressed with just tuning the ratio between the combustion and electrical power. He added, suggesting the shift from 20 to 50% requires a rethink. So then, what exactly is Christian Horner really worried about? Surely with all the modern-day technology and the engineering expertise that the team has at their disposal, there shouldn't be any issue. Well, not entirely, as like all things in life, balance is critical, and that is precisely the problem here with heavier cars. It means that the chassis will become a slave to the engine rather than facilitating great racing. I think you've got to look at things holistically from a technical point of view, but most importantly, what is Formula One? Formula One needs to be wheel-to-wheel racing. We can't afford to lose the challenge of drivers downshifting on straights to regenerate batteries. So I know that the FIA are taking it very seriously, and they're looking at it very closely as the simulations become more advanced. Downshifting on a straight. Now, doesn't that sound like groundbreaking racing? Whether that is the case or not, Horner's favorite person on the paddock, Toto Wolff, didn't precisely agree with the Red Bull team principal. The Mercedes team principal also looked to expose his arch-rival by saying that Red Bull was worried about their engine program rather than 2026 alone. Now, let's take a pause. Before you nail us in the comments, the Horner and Toto friends comment was a joke. Now, back to regular viewing. When asked about Horner's concerns, Toto Wolff mocked his rival, suggesting, "I think what frightens him more is maybe his engine program is not coming along and maybe he wants to kill it that way." You always have to question, what is the real motivation to say something like that? Wolff added. When questioned whether the FIA may rethink 2026 power unit specifications, Toto retorted, "That's not going to happen. Zero chance, capital letters, I don't know why these things are coming up," retorted Toto. Toto is probably right. There's no chance that the regulations will change now with the introduction of Audi and the return of Honda. They can't just now change the rules, as the 50% hybrid clause is why both of them signed up, as F1 is now suited to their sustainability projects. So will we really be seeing a downshift on the straights in order for cars to regenerate their batteries? Well, once again, Toto Wolff couldn't help but take a dig at his arch-rival Horner. Do you think that in all reality we are not going to innovate in the sport to come up with the chassis? Engine regulations that can avoid drivers shifting down on the straight? It just isn't real. When you take today's chassis and put the future power unit in there, there are a few tracks with very long straights that would have massive D-rates in the power unit. That's today's situation, said Toto. Change is always going to be a problem, with the new regulations introduced recently have caused quite the stir, with only really Red Bull mastering the new aerodynamics of the car, while Mercedes, Aston and Ferrari have been left in their wake, trying to slowly figure out what the best way to catch the RB19. Now the man driving the RB19 is Max Verstappen, and such is his form this year that you wouldn't bet on him winning all the remaining races in 2023. Now normally when a world champion speaks, the sport should listen, but in the case of Formula One, they just won't. Speaking after his Austrian Grand Prix win, Verstappen said he agreed with Horner's concerns to the proposed alterations for 2026. "I've been talking about this as well with the team, and I've seen the data already on the simulator as well," Verstappen told media, including RacingNews365.com. "To me, it looks pretty terrible. If you go flat out on the straight at Monza, 400 or 500 meters before the end, you have to downshift flat out because that's faster. I think that's not the way forward." On top of this, Max feels there could just be another development war, with teams investing heavily to gain the advantage, as they know whoever has the most powerful engine will most likely be able to dominate, just like Mercedes did for 8 years. And is anyone really ready for another period of domination from Lewis Hamilton? The problem is that it looks like there's going to be an ICE competition, like whoever has the strongest engine will have a big benefit, said Verstappen. But I don't think that should be the intention of Formula One, because then you start a massive development war again, and it will become quite expensive to find a few horsepower here and there. I think that it should actually be the opposite. Plus, the cars probably have a lot less drag, so it'll be even harder to overtake on the straight, added Max. He didn't stop there with guess what reared its head again? Yep, you guessed it, the weight of the car. Plus, the weight is going up again, so we have to look seriously at this because 2026 is not that far away. At the moment, to me, it looks very bad from all the numbers and what I see from the data already, so it's not something I'm excited about at the moment, ended Verstappen.